Hello my friends, welcome back. How are you? I hope doing okay. Let's head on over to read our inspiration for the day. Okay, it says, don't worry about what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and do that. Because what the world needs are people who have come alive. Howard Thurman. That's a beautiful quote. Okay, now let's see what I have in store for today. Woohoo! We are going to do a review on RESINERS Epoxy Resin. I do believe this resin is new on the market. So we are going to see how this resin performs. They was nice enough to send me this to try out on my channel. On the side there, it has some measurements so you can tell what's in the bottle, and it's listed in milliliters. Here are the instructions, which I'm not going to read. We are just going to walk through this resin and see how it performs. If you buy the resin, you'll have the directions in the kit, but I will go over a lot of stuff that is in this pamphlet with you, so no worries there. I won't focus on how to stir it. If you need to learn how to stir epoxy resin, there are some great videos out there to teach you. I'm going to focus on how well it performs. It says bubble-free, crystal clear, low odor, self-leveling, mold-friendly, BPA and VOC-free. It's a 1-to-1, which means you use measuring cups and not scales. So I have here a mold. One of the molds we're going to use, and then here's another mold we're going to use, and I'm pointing at one of the things I'm going to use out of this mold, and then here's another mold. We may use one out of this mold, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if I'll have leftover resin or anything, and if I do, then we'll use something out of this mold. We're going to use this one, we're only going to use one of these. And we're going to use 2 of these hearts. And this mold was not made very well. I'm guessing the person that made it didn't feel very well when they made it. So we're just going to do the best we can in that mold. These are the colors I'm going to use. They are by Pearl X. It's the Sapphire Blue and the Reflex Violet, and I'm going to make my daughter a self-defense keychain set. So let's open up these resin bottles and check out how they made the tops. Okay, I'm seeing here there's a little tab right here, and this, you pull it and it opens the bottle. That is pretty sweet. I like that. These bottles feel nice. They have a nice feel to them. They're just really nice. And I love how it has the measurements on the side of the bottles. And this one has a little bit more extra protection on it. I'm not sure why the other one didn't and this one does. It's really hard to get through it too. So I'm going to reach over and probably grab some scissors here in a minute and just get it off of there. It says on the bottle to work in a well-ventilated space. Wear gloves and tightly sealed goggles may cause skin or eye irritation or allergy reaction. Okay, now I have some resin here. It looks bubble-free. It is real thin in consistency. It's not super thin, but it's thinner than the resins I'm used to using. It's thinner than J. Diction. It's thinner than Let's Resin. And I'm really loving that about it because that is going to release bubbles a whole lot better than a thicker resin will. So my daughter's name starts with an H. So we're going to start right here in the H, and I'm going to pour some of this resin into the letter. And there was something in my mold, so I'm just picking it out. I'm not sure what it was. I haven't used this mold in ages. It's been a long time since I've done any keychains. And I'm just going to heat it up with my heat gun. And I know everyone's wondering, what is that noise in your video? I wonder if anyone can guess what it is. I live in Texas, and I'm outside today because it is very nice out here. And I'm just chilling with the neighborhood cat, feeding her. And the locusts are really bad this year. So that's what you're hearing in the background. Now here I have some flowers that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. And we are going to put some of them in the letter here. So I'm just going to see how much I'm going to cut off. I do want the stem to be in there too. So I'm going to dip it into my resin and introduce it to it. And maybe it won't get any bubbles inside of the flower. And I'm going to put it down in my resin. And I'm just checking to make sure that it's going to cover. You know, it's going to, it's not going to poke out of the mold. And here's another one, and I'm going to add it as well. But this one I want to drop down a little bit lower than the other one, kind of like that. And then I'm going to cut the stem off of it. And then here's some cute little flowers. I'm not sure what the name of these are, but they are pretty. We're going to add some of them as well. So I'm just going to cut off what I want and drop it down in there. It also says that this resin conforms to ASTM-D-4236. And what that means is all of the potentially hazardous components of the resin have been clearly labeled on the product packaging. I don't see any bubbles in this resin, you guys. I have a pink flower and a yellow flower I'm also going to add. And I'm just going to drop them in different parts of the H here and cut the stem off that I don't want in there. And then I think these might look good in there too. So I'm going to add some of these as well. I'm just going to trim off a few pieces and introduce it to my resin over here. And then drop it in my mold. On this resin, you have a 40-minute working time. And I'm really going to push that to see if we really get that 40 minutes. Demold time is 8 hours. And cure time is 24 hours. It also lists the manufacturing date. It also has expiration date. And it says the expiration date is 1 year and 6 to 8 months is the best period of use from your expiration date. And then I'm going to add these beautiful blue flowers here. I'm just going to cut off a few. That one flew in the letter. And I'm just going to pick them up and introduce them to my resin. And then I'm going to add them into my mold. I think they will be a beautiful addition to what we have going on in the letter H. It says this resin is self-leveling, yellow resistant, bubble free, crystal clear, and we are also going to test out the self-leveling. We are going to dome with this resin as well. Okay, now I have the other mold, and we are going to use this one down here in the right corner, the right hand corner, and I'm going to drop some of the resin down in first, just clear. I'm still not seeing any bubbles. You have not seen me use alcohol not one time yet. I have not seen any bubbles. Now here I'm just heating that resin up a little bit. And now my daughter loves Chanel, so I just have this little fake Chanel symbol here. And I'm going to add it down in here just for a funsy for her. And I'm going to make sure it's straight. And then I have these really cute little, this like little bitty beads, but they're not beads. I guess little balls, if you will. It's small ones and big ones. And then I have them in purple and blue. And I'm going to drop them in up here right in the peaks of the mold. And then I'm just going to add them a few, you know, around here and there inside the mold and make it look nice. It also says on this resin, do not work in cold temperatures. It will cause the product difficult to work with and prevent the resin from curing properly. When the temperature is lower than 15 degrees Celsius, please preheat resin A to mix the resin after 30 degrees Celsius, which is easy to operate. And the bottle cap must be closed after use to avoid product scraping due to moisture absorption. Getting tongue twisted. Now I added a little bit of glitter in there, and then I'm going to take my little tool here and I'm going to just twirl it around and mix that glitter in. I wasn't planning on putting glitter in there, but I went ahead and decided to put it in there anyway because my daughter is all about that glitter too, so I'm just going to put her some glitter in there. If I gave this to her with no glitter, she'd be like, really? Where is the bling bling? It also says do not work in mass with this resin. The more the two parts you mix, the more heat they will release. Therefore, it may cause a flash cure. And a flash cure means the resin gets super duper hot, starts smoking, it's super scary, and you cannot work with it then. Okay, now I sprayed a little alcohol because I'm going to set that to the side, although I did not see any bubbles. Now we're going to work on the little dog paw here because she has a dog named Leo. And I dropped some of the purple glitter down in my cup. And then I'm going to drop in some blue glitter in the other cup. And I'm going to mix it up. And then I'm going to pour some pink glitter in this cup. And we're going to use that in one of the hearts maybe. And I'm going to add a little bit of this dark colored glitter to just make it a little bit darker. And yes, that's absolutely what I'm going for right there. I think that's beautiful. And then the hearts down here, I'm not sure if we're going to do a pink heart. She has a Caleb and Grace. And I don't know if I'm going to do this pink heart for Grace or if I want to stick with purple for Grace and blue for Caleb. So I'm just going to do the pink card just in case I go that route. But I may stay with the color scheme that I have and just do the purple for Grace and the blue for Caleb. And now I'm going to drop in some of that blue glitter. Or purple. This is the purple. Because I'm not sure if I'm going to do pink or purple for Grace. Okay, now here's the dog paw. I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol in my mold. And then I'm going to take that blue glitter and drop it in one of the paw pads. And then I'm going to skip a paw pad and then drop it in the next paw pad. And then I get out the purple glitter and then I'm going to drop it in the paw pads that I skipped, making it blue, purple, blue, and purple. And then for the paw pad at the bottom, I'm going to mix the purple and the blue. And I'm going to let this cure. And then we'll come back for step number 2 in this mold. I'm going to heat it up. Okay, now we're back. And I have the Pearl X purple and the blue in my cups, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of resin and mix up that mica powder in my resin really good before I add the rest of my resin to the cup. And that way I'm not introducing bubbles to my whole cup of resin. Okay, now I'm going to grab my Casting Craft White. It is opaque. And I'm going to drop a few drops in my cup here. And we're going to do purple, blue, and I'm going to put a little bit of white in with this part. And I'm going to give it 5 minutes to degas. And now we're back. I'm going to spritz a little alcohol in this mold. And then I'm going to go ahead and pour. It's really thin area to get through right here. So I'm holding it up a little bit so that it'll make a skinnier stream to fit inside of that little area. And I'm going to try to stick in a little bit of purple here before the white gets over there. And I made it. So I kind of wanted it to be blue, purple, white. No, white, blue, purple, blue, white. And I'm just going to keep adding each color until I get the mold filled. And this is what's going to hold all of our keychains, or pieces of her keychain that I'm going to cast. And she can hold this on her wrist for her keys and all of her little trinkets that I'm going to put on there. The bigger and bulkier you can make it, the happier she is. And I know a lot of people that are like that. Me, I used to be like that, but now I try to keep my keys simplified. You know, just the basic keys that I need, and my little key fob for my car. Okay, now we're back, and these two molds have cured. So I'm adding some more of the mica powder, the sapphire blue, and the reflex violet into my cup. I'm going to stir them up really well, making sure I get the bottom and the sides of my cup, stirring them up really, really good. I did speed the video up a little bit right here, because this is one of the longest videos I think I've put out. But I couldn't trim it down anymore, or else you guys wouldn't have seen everything that I done. So I did the best that I could do. I'm so sorry if it's too long for some of you. Okay, now we have our 3 cups out here. The Casting Craft White, the sapphire blue and the reflex violet, and I'm just getting that white stirred up really good. Well, I fed the cats and they took off on me. Got their bellies full and left. Okay, I used my split cup here, and I have the three slots for the split cup, and I added all my colors into it, and I'm just going to pour them all at once. And I'm going to take my heat gun and heat it up so that resin can flow all the way through each part of my mold. I'm going to spritz a little alcohol to make it move a little bit faster. And then I'm going to add some over here in the little paw mold. I'm going to use my heat gun and heat it up a little bit, pop any surface bubbles. Spray a little alcohol and put it to the side. Now we're back and this part has cured. I'm going to take a little bit of tape and I'm going to go around my letter here so that I don't have any resin cured on the side of there. That will make my next pour reach out and touch that cured resin, and it will end up making me have to sand the piece. And this is the same resin in the split cup here. And I'm just going to dip in with my popsicle stick because I only needed a little bit more, and I didn't want to pour it because I knew I would go over if I did. I'm going to spray it with a little alcohol and then move it to the side. Now let's go ahead and demold these pieces. They turned out beautiful. I have a little bit of resin left over, so I'm going to go ahead and pour 2 hearts with this color too, and maybe we'll use these 2. It may be too much of the same color scheme, so I may stick with the glittery ones. I don't know, but at least we'll have a few options to choose from. Excuse me. I sprayed a little alcohol. I still have some resin left in my cup, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and pour this one right here that I told you I had just in case we have extra resin left, and we do. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it. It's another self-defense keychain piece. I'm just tapping my heat gun to get it to come on. I'm looking for a new heat gun. And I'm going to pour a little bit more in here. And I'm trying to get it up here in the keychain area. And there it goes. So I'm going to use my heat gun. And I still have some resin left. So we're going to make her one of these pieces as well to go on her keychain. This is one of the card, you put like your debit card in it and slide it into the pump. And you don't have to touch the little pump. It's really good for people who have fingernails on. Now we're going to go ahead and demold our bracelet here. And I'm using my tape to get off that extra resin off of the sides of it. So it will be easier. It won't have any cleanup when I pull it out. And I slowed the video back down so we can take a look at it. And here it is. It turned out really cute. Now the back of it, we need to dome it because it's really sharp back here. And we don't want any sharp objects because she does have 2 children. So I'm going to make sure that that is not sharp back there anymore. Now I threw this in my video just to show you guys. I got this from Temu. It was one of their resin pigment paste. And I want you guys to see this. Look how lumpy that is. I have not had this long at all. I've had it maybe a month. I have stirred it and stirred it and stirred it just to get it to this state right here. It had so many lumps in it that it was hard to stir. and I had to really stir it just to get it to this point. So I was just letting you guys know you might not want to buy this brand from Temu, because I'm going to show you 2 other brands that I did purchase from them in the resin pigment paste that are a lot better, and they did not do what that one did. Let me open it up and show you the difference. This is what a pigment paste is supposed to look like. See how smooth that is? That's what one is supposed to look like. I don't know what in the world happened to that other pigment paste. And then here's the other one I purchased from Temu. And as you can see, it is just as smooth, because this is what a pigment paste is supposed to look like. Now, I will tell you, both of these pigment pastes are brand new. I think I may have used the gray one time, and I've never used the red, but I'm going to show you the difference in the amount that I was given. Look at the red. It's filled to the top, and the gray is like halfway down the jar. So that's crazy that I got robbed. Oh, goodness. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So maybe if you're purchasing some of their pigment paste, you might want to stay away from this one right here. I always like to share things like that with everyone, because I would want someone to tell me. Okay, now we're back to our project, and I'm going to take my deburring tool and I'm going to run it down my little bracelet here and get off those sharp edges before we dome it. It does say that this resin is BPA and VOC free, and what that means is the resin does not contain bisphenol A. That's a chemical that has been used in plastics since the 60s, and it's also linked to a lot of health problems. VOC stands for volatile organic compounds, carbon-based substances that can evaporate into the air and contribute to indoor air pollution and ozone pollution. They can also cause short-term and long-term health issues, including respiratory problems. VOCs are commonly found in many household products, like, your disinfectants, your aerosol sprays like Lysol, and furniture. However, it's important to note that even though a product is labeled VOC free, it may still contain some levels of VOCs. Like all paint will contain some VOCs, but the levels may not, be so low that they're considered insignificant. So that's always something to note. Now here I'm just doming this bracelet, and I'm dropping in a few of the little glitter pieces here because I think they look really cute. I'm also fighting with a few of them. They're not wanting to stay down in there. And I'm just going back and forth from the blue to the purple, back from the blue, back to the purple. I think it looks really cute like that. And it really showcases the different color glitters on the white side of it. Okay, now we're back, and I have my my little glass piece out here with one of my stampers on it. I used my embossing stamp pad and stamped it. It's clear embossing stamp pad, and I stamped my little, it says hot mess stamper onto it, and I used my embossing powder in pink to do Grace's little heart. And I'm going to put hot mess number 1 on her heart, and I done Caleb's already over there to the right. You can see it. It says hot mess, and we're going to put number 2 on it. And I think that's going to be such a cute addition to her keychain set. And we're going to dome them to protect that embossing powder. Now I'm going to take my little brush here and I'm going to go around the edges of this and dust off some of that extra embossing powder, because we still need to use the heat gun and heat this up to lock in the embossing powder on here, and it will also change colors and it's going to be so beautiful. But we're going to do that together so I can show you how it changes. I'm just making sure the edges are really crisp on my my little hot mess here. And then I'm going to make sure, I did go around this one, but I'm going to go ahead and check it again real quick and make sure that it looks good before I heat it up and lock it in onto the resin piece here. And I'm going to get my little piece of board out, because I'm really going to need to hold some heat on this, and I don't want it to burn the paper that I have on my table. So I'm going to beat my heat gun, cut it on, and we're going to heat this up and lock in that embossing powder. And I don't know if you can see it changing to a really glittery, glossy, but I'm going to hold it up and let you see me do the pink one. I don't know why I didn't hold it up so you could see the white one change too. The white one I'm using is called a Festive Tinsel, I believe is the name of it. Or maybe, is it Festive Tinsel or Christmas Tinsel? I don't know, it's one of the two. But it's an embossing powder. And there it is. Isn't that beautiful? And we're going to put number 1 on here, because he's going to be hot mess number 1. And believe me, he is a hot mess. But Grace, she's so sweet. Caleb is too. I'm not saying he's not sweet. But he's a stinker. And now I'm heating that up. Can you see it change colors? It's so magical. I love using embossing powders. And you can stamp them onto resin and make some beautiful pieces. I don't know if you guys have experimented with that, but it's a lot of fun. And I didn't want to speed this part up because I wanted you to really see it. So like I said, I did try to speed it up in areas that I could to try to keep the video down as much as I could. And I'm so sorry that it still made it to an hour. Now I sped this up a little bit. These are some alphabets that I got for $1.99. And they're really pretty. We're going to use the pink gloss on the blue one, because his is blue and I don't want to put a blue sticker on his, because then you won't be able to see it. So since the colors are blue and purple, that's what we're going to stick with. So I'm going to put blue on hers and purple on his. Number 1 and number 2. Now I have some really glittery holographic letters here, and I spelt their name out in them and put them on the hearts. Now we're back, and let's demold our letter H. It's time to take it out, and let's take a look at it and see what it looks like. I'm hoping those flowers look beautiful in it. I hope I didn't put too many in it. Look, there are absolutely no bubbles on the edges of this. This resin is awesome, you guys. This turned out stunning. I absolutely love it. I don't know if y'all can see, but the glitter in the background is just sparkling. Now we're going to go ahead and demold our pieces. I'm going to set that one to the side and save it for last. I thought something was on the back of there, but I guess it came right off. I'm not sure what it was. And this is still a little bit soft. But it has not been 8 hours either. I think it's about 7 hours right here. And here is this piece, and it turned out beautiful. But we will take a look at all these pieces when they are fully cured at the end of the video, so we can see how hard they got, if they get hard. You know, we're gonna test all of it out in this video. Here is the paw print mold, our casting out of the mold, and it turned out super cute. We're gonna dome around the glittery parts, the pads. But I'm going to leave the pads. I'm not going to dome those. But we're going to dome around the pads. And now I'm going to show you this letter H. I'll show it to you a close-up again here in a minute. Let's demold this piece right here. It's still a little bit bendy. I'm hoping it's going to get harder. And it has no bubbles on the edges. Look at that. Beautiful. Now let's get these two hearts out. We're not going to use these, but I thought I would demold them with you anyway. I'm going to put them to the side and maybe use them for something else in the future because they turned out so beautiful. Here's the other bracelet that I done because I didn't think I was satisfied with the bracelet that we did. So I had extra glitter left over and I went ahead and poured it into this mold. And here's what we have. And I'm not going to stick with it. We're going to go ahead and keep the other one that I made. So I'm just going to put that somewhere, you know, and I may use it at a later date. And I'm just situating everything around here, and then we're going to demold our other piece down here. I'm super excited to see how it turned out. And this is our last piece to demold. I hope it turned out so pretty. And I'm curious to see if it has any bubbles because I really twirled around in this resin right here, trying to make it bubble up on me. I was really pushing this resin, you guys, pushing it to its limits. And I see no bubbles in this. Absolutely none. This resin is stunning, you guys. It's awesome. I have a little bit of cleanup to do right there in the circle parts of it, but nothing big. I could pull that off and it'll come right off. And I decided to use some different letters for their names. I didn't like those little holographic ones because I couldn't really see them. So I found some other ones in my craft room and I switched them out. And here they are. I'm showing them to you. We don't have the resin on there, so they look a little wonky right now, but we're going to fix all of that. So here's all the pieces we're going to use for her keychain. And I know you're thinking, wow, that's going to be a lot. We're not going to use the glitter one. We're going to trade it back out for the other one that we made. And see, I switched it out right quick. I'm going to use my deburring tool and go around the edges of this piece right here because I kind of over poured on it a little bit. And it's still a little bit soft, but I'm in hopes that that's going to get harder as it cures. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my J. Diction High Viscosity UV Resin, and I'm going to UV resin the other side of their heart, and we're going to dome it with the RESINERS resin on the other side. I just needed it to be quick right here, so this was how I could do the one side quick so we could try out the doming on the other side for the RESINERS epoxy resin to see how it performs doming. So I'm just getting those letters straight. They're really sliding on me quite a bit. Every time I touch one and move it, the other one moves a little bit. So I'm just trying to get them as straight as I can. Okay, I'm going to put some UV resin on the other one, Grace's, and then I'm going to straighten up her letters. And then we can go ahead and put them in the curing machine and cure them up. And then we can move along. I also wanted to let everyone know that I updated the list for our drawing for the hummingbird piece, which I'm going to throw in a picture right here. So you might want to go over to my community tab and check out my updated list and make sure that you're on it if you want to be in the drawing to win that beautiful piece. And if you're not on the list, reach out to me and I will make sure I get you on there. Okay, now we're back and I sped this part up a little bit. I found some beautiful rub-ons in my craft room. They're rub-on transfers. And I'm going to take the flowery parts off of them. And I'm going to take the letter H, because that's what her name starts with, and put it on her credit card slider. And then I found a crown that I'm going to put on the top of her H. And then for her, one of her pieces here, I'm going to take the flowers and I'm going to try to line it up on here. I cut that one a little bit too thin, so I'm going to recut it. And that's what we're going to use for this piece. Right like that. And I'm going to trim it up a little bit. So let's go ahead and take the backing off of it, line it up, and place it on there. I wanted to pull it off and straighten it up a little bit more, but it wouldn't come off. So I'm just going to make the crown crooked, and that way it'll look like it's supposed to be like that. And then we'll throw in a flower in there to straighten the whole bit up. See, I'm going to take this piece right here and turn it to the side since the H is wonky, and we'll make them both wonky. And we'll throw in a flower somewhere in the middle, and it'll kind of straighten that whole design up a little bit. And now I'm going to peel off the backing of this piece, and we're going to place it onto here. And I'm going to take my popsicle stick and I'm going to rub it and make sure that it adheres to my casting. Okay, I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and take it off. Oh, that turned out beautiful. And I'm just poking the other pieces down, which I start picking them off so I won't have cleanup to do on the edges, because I don't want them to be on the edges. That turned out so stinking cute. Now let's put some on this piece too. And it'll make that Chanel symbol kind of fade in the background, and I think it will give it an awesome effect. So I'm going to take my popsicle stick and I'm going to rub this design on here, and hopefully we'll get a good outcome. I don't know if it's going to work out how I envisioned it, but I hope it will. Now let's pull it off and see what we got. Yes, I'm loving how that Chanel kind of faded in the back. And I'm going to pick this off so I won't have all that cleanup to do on the edges, instead of rubbing it down and dealing with it later. See, it's coming off on my fingers. Super easy. And there it is. That's beautiful. Now we're going to add a flower into that H and that crown that I put on here, and kind of straighten this up a little bit. Or make it appear that way. And I'm going to rub it on there, peel it off, and see what we got. Yes, that turned out beautiful. Now I'm going to add something to the tips up here because it looks funny with just the design on part of this. So I'm going to go ahead and do the pointy areas of this casting. So I'm trying to line up the design and make it look good. Let's see what I can get on that. I think I have the whole thing filled now. I'm just picking off the excess now. Yes, that looks very cute. I'm loving it. Now I have my little lemon spinner out, and now we're going to test how this resin domes. Let's see what it does. Okay, I can tell you right now, it is leveling perfect for me. It's not trying to slip off. I'm loving the consistency I'm getting from it. It's thin, but not too thin. And I know that when you dome, you kind of want a thicker resin so it doesn't slide off. But I'm telling you right now, even though this resin is a little bit on the thin side, it is not even attempting to come off of my piece. I'm feeling very secure in this and confident to move forward with the dome. This is a great all-around resin, you guys. It definitely has my approval, and I will be buying some to keep in my craft room from now on. Resiners, you nailed it with this. This is awesome. If you haven't tried this resin, you guys, you really need to get you a bottle of it. Get you just a small one if you're not sure about it. The links will be in my description box. I also have a discount code so you can save a little bit on it. It will all be in my description box. And we're just going to go ahead and dome up the rest of these pieces. I put a little bit of tape on the back, so in case I do slip off into that keychain hole, it won't come off into the back. Which I don't plan on doing that. But whoever plans on anything, right? We definitely don't plan on mistakes to happen. Now let's get that letter H out. I'm going to tape the back of it where that keychain hole is at. And go ahead and dome this letter right on up. And as you can tell, even though this is sped up a bit, you can still tell that I am moving pretty quickly across these pieces because I'm feeling very confident in this resin not slipping off of my casting. It's as if I have used this resin before and I have not. I'm using my heat gun. I don't see any bubbles, but I just want to be a little bit on the sure side. I'm covering it. Now we're back and everything is cured up. We should have solid pieces here because everything is fully cured. Look at that dome, you guys. Look at it. Even though this piece is not designed, the mold maker did not design this piece to be domed because the points of it, the resin really doesn't like to sit on pointy areas. It doesn't like to stay there. It wants to move away from that point. And this resin did not do that. It stayed absolutely where I put it. Check this out, you guys. I do not push things that I do not have approval of. I will not ever lie to you guys. I will be 100% honest with you. Look at that right there. That turned out beautiful. And here I put this on right here. This is so you can slide your card in it and move it in and out of the machines without having to touch it. Here's this piece right here. It turned out beautiful. All of my pieces are hard. They're not bendy. Here's our little hearts. This is hot mess number 1. There's the Caleb on the back. And here is hot mess number 2. Sweet little Grace. And look, her letter moved on me, you guys. I didn't even notice it. That's when I done the UV resin. So I made her another heart over there to the side. And I'm just peeling off these pieces of tape I put on there. Now we're going to keychain all this stuff up, hook it up, and see what we got. So I pulled out all of my hardware here, so we're going to run through it right quick. I won't have you guys too much longer. I'm trying to decide which one of these crosses I want to use, and we need something big like this so we can loop it through the bracelet, and then everything else can loop on to that. So I chose to go with the purple. So I'm sliding on our two bigger pieces here, and everything else will connect off of that. So I'm going to slide her H on here, and I'm leaving that little chain hanging down because we're going to add the heart hanging from it just like that. Now I used a zip tie to get through here because the keychain kept getting wonky on me. So I used a zip tie, and I'm coming through it like this. And I'm going to leave an area so that heart can move around on the keychain really good. It doesn't have any constriction going on it. And I put the zip tie on backwards, typical of me with a zip tie. So now I'm fixing it, running it back through the right way. I'm going to get my pliers and pull it through. And now we're going to loop it through and lock it on here. But I'm going to make sure I leave enough space on it so it can have enough room to move around on the keychain. Right like that. See, there's enough room there. And then I'm going to cut off the excess. And this does not look bad at all. I thought it was going to look bad, but it doesn't. I slowed the video back down so you can kind of see a little bit better what's going on. I should have done that about 5 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Okay, here's this piece, and it's attached and looks really cute. And now we're going to go in slow motion a little bit here to put that zip tie through and show you exactly how I done it. Okay, I think it's on there pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and clip it off. And there it is. See, it doesn't look that bad. But I'm telling you, that keychain I kept putting through there, it was too fat. So it was making my keychain look wonky. And we're going to add this cute little purple thing on here. Why not? We already have so much on here. Why not something else? And we're going to put it on that little paw there. Now let's go ahead and attach everything since we have our hardware on here. Let's slide on our H. Let's slide on the dog paw for Leo. Such a sweet dog. He's a big baby. And then there we have it. And then one more piece. Let's add it right here. And there it is. What do you guys think of this? Do you think it's cute? I think she's going to love it. And then the kids can have something, you know, if she's in an office, doctor's office or something to sit there and just fiddle with, you know. Let's go ahead and add her a little chapstick case on here too. So I pulled out my bag, and I'm going to go through them and see which one matches. I'm thinking maybe these two right here probably are the best two options out of this whole bag. But I'm going to fumble through here a little bit more and make sure that there's not any more choices in here that we can choose from. That paw one's pretty cute, but it's not the color. It wouldn't look cute on there. So, nope, I think we pretty much have the two colors up here that look the best. So, let's choose between these two. This one or this one. This one or this one. Let's go with that one. So, it already has a little hardware keychain on it. So, I'm going to go ahead and just slide it on here right like that. And now we're done, you guys. I don't think I'm going to add anything else. I know you're like, phew, thank God for that. Well, good Lord, I wouldn't have this on my keychain, but my daughter sure will love it. And I'm going to make that heart over for her. Well, it's about that time, my friends, to end this with a sweet goodbye, and I will see you tomorrow. We have 2 more days to enter the drawing for the hummingbird piece. So make sure you check out the updated list in my community tab. Thank you for hanging out with me. God bless you. Goodbye, my friends.